Welcome in, my beautiful souls, to a daily reading. Let's jump into the Light Seers Tarot and get an overall energy, and then we'll do a bit of a layered spread to further dive into the energy for this day period. So to do some beginning shuffling, what do we have for the overall energy for this day? Okay, apparently a lot, but the Strength card is what we're getting. So Spirit is saying that the overall energy being strength for you, which is a major arcana, is saying that you are in a place where you're feeling a bit stronger, all right? And so there may be a bit of a highlight for some of you on the fact that, you know, it's a bit crazy how you can wake up one day feeling quite light and strong, and then the next day or the next couple of days you feel a bit heavier and a lack there of strength. So when it comes to this day and maybe even surrounding it where you feel a bit stronger than, you know, the previous day or maybe just recently in general for you, they're saying let's use it to our advantage. And I also want to say some of you have maybe cut this and that out or at least minimalized it. You maybe have been better taking care of yourself or kind of starting to get back to it. And so that's obviously part of why you're feeling stronger. And so they're saying, look at things in a positive light. Ask yourself, why do I feel at times like I'm limited when in reality, Spirit's saying very clearly at times over and over again, the possibilities are endless. It's because at times you're not realizing spiritual entities are affecting you negatively. There maybe are even certain factors of your current day reality that leave you a little bit negative or just not fully expecting the best in such an optimistic way like we know you have and can do again. But let's put these cards back into the deck because we were going for one, and then we will continue and further see what the day is all about. What else do we have? There's something casual about you where before maybe I want to say you were coming through a bit uptight, maybe too overly serious. And so it's interesting as you become a bit stronger throughout this day and you feel your strength and ability to get things done is even growing. It's like you, are happier. You know, you're more so in the moment in a chill sense without kind of carrying and bringing the heaviness of other aspects of life, including spirits, into whatever you're applying yourself towards. And so it's to say, for example, you're creating and developing for work somehow, or you're connecting with others. You could even be, you know, a hobby or two. You could see that fly. It's being so annoying. You're just bringing a lighter, stronger version of yourself into the equation. And it's wild how much of a difference this is going to make for you. But then the Hierophant is saying, at times you forget that structure actually works to your advantage. There's something quite off about the way you approach something and then it works, right? But then they're saying that's feeling to be wrapped up into some sort of, determination, but it's like a structure that you're holding yourself towards, you know? For example, I like to be free in the midst of doing these readings, you know, when it feels right, when it's being told to me is the right time even. That it's energy work, you know? And so it makes sense to have that sort of lack of structure. But then at times I get in the habit of not, you know, recording on the daily or most of the days. And so I feel like you're going to be in a spot where Spirit's saying there's a nice delicate balance that you're recreating at this time in regards to structure and a sense of flow and freedom even, right? But there's something about being mentioned, said. There's things like, you know, where you're sort of trying to figure out the right wording or gain the right spiritual message or understand things a bit better. See, I'm doing it again. And Spirit's saying, sure, an overdose or too much of which is going to leave people feeling like you don't know what you're talking about or you just question yourself too much. But in little moments when that comes to be, perfection is not attainable. And we keep saying that on this channel, at least for the most part. But certain things like saying and taking a moment to figure things out and not being fully sure in the moment, that's relatable. It's even personable. It's understandable. It makes you human. And so there's something about a lot of you being ultra spiritual as well. And they're saying, we're reminding you, you're a human. You're not a walking spirit, okay? In that sense, you know what I mean? because we all have spirits, but the Queen of Wands in the upright, it's like you went from feeling a lack there of passion, maybe even a lack there of connection, feeling connected rather to what's at hand. And people notice this, right? Some were even concerned because you were so far away energetically and even mentally, emotionally. And part of this was because some of you were envisioning the future so heavily at times, or just so much that it left you not really where you actually were. And so when you kind of come back to yourself, but in new ways, and you feel more passionate, more connected, when you feel a sense of ease wrapped up into it all, they're kind of welcoming you back in a way, and you start to feel like you're in the midst of a new beginning. It's the sense of spirit saying, either way, that's the way we want you to view it, because it's going to give you this sense of fresh energy, but passion that really lights you up. It even lights other people up. There's an easy way about how you say, this isn't the right timing for something, but I kind of feel like it's going to happen throughout this day either way, And so when you flow with that, but you're also, again, choosing to structure yourself to an extent, if not fully, it's like things just work themselves out, It's feeling like you want to put in the work, but you're not wanting to force it, or you're not willing to. And then they're saying, well, that's also making a big difference. When you start to smile a bit more, and that might even have happened in the previous day or two, in little doses, they're kind of easing you back into a smiley way of being. Because I see a lot of you, like myself, being quite, again, stern and just, it's like life is just so serious. It's not always needing to be that serious. And so there's this energy of spirit saying, we're gradually each needing to kind of shake that off and bring in the happiness, in the gentle joy, and be more present, right? Because that's going to support what you have been thinking about for the future, more than, ultra fixating on the potentials or the guarantees even of what lies ahead. Let's pull a couple more. You're also going to feel like there are people around you who really need to correct their energy. And you might have experienced sort of a reminder or an informing that was already happening. But to be real with you, people's energy fluctuates, right? Just like yours, just like mine. And so when you might be, for some of you, wrapped up with a situation where, there's one if not multiple energies in your midst physically, not talking about spirits who are just maybe feeling like they have to compete with others, that can obviously rub you the wrong way energetically. Or maybe they're just feeling confrontational or off in energy, maybe a bit negative, moody, pessimistic. These all feel like potentials. And they're saying we just as might highlight and compare the fact that you're not in that energy, right? Or any of which that I just potentially mentioned. And so it feels like while you're in the Five of Wands in reverse, where it's like, I'm not competing with anybody, even including myself at this point. I'm not in negative energy, at least for the most part. And it's going to help you while other people are really needing to work on it, But let's pull a couple more before we wrap this up. We also have the Devil card and the Magician. Some of you need to tread carefully in regards to something that holds toxicity that you might be manifesting at this time. But also they're saying almost every situation that you could jump into in the future can hold certain amounts of bad energy. That's just life, It exists all around the world. And I feel it's a bit contradicting to now talk about the future, but they're saying you are manifesting a lot at this time. So again, it reminds us of the power and the necessity of our optimism and strength at this time, and just protecting our own energy, but remembering that you literally could easily think and speak and expect things into existence, especially in moments when the energy is feeling kind of hardcore, and maybe a little bit off once again. But either way, I feel like you are stepping into a stronger, more magical version of yourself. and you're going to feel really good about it by the end of the stay period, even, after the fact. But they're saying, once again, things are changing, all right? And it's super, super important that you flow with the changes while feeling it out in regards to where your control should be lying in regards to other changes, okay? Once again, you will be feeling stronger, and the possibilities, my friend, are endless. I hope these messages were truly helpful. I do look forward to your next daily read. Take care.